hope you are all doing well. I want to welcome you into service today. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Mikey and I am the cameraman for Pastor Mike. And I'm usually the one behind the scenes filming all these things, and helping Pastor Mike come up with all these videos. Some people say that he and I look alike, we talk alike, and we dress alike. But you know, and I know that I am the cooler one. Don't you agree? Yes. So, I want to welcome you into the worship today. We always start off our services with worship. And worshiping is so fun. I love worshiping. And one of my favorite ways that I worship God is by singing. And so, I hope that you can sing along with us today. You're probably at home watching this, so don't worry, there's no one watching you. So I want you to sing with all your hearts. I want you to sing so loud that I can hear you from here. So we're gonna have worship, and so I hope that you can sing along. Let's worship God.
Your feet, you're the only one I need. I turn to you and you are always there. In troubled times it's you I see. I put you first, that's all I need. I humble all I am, all to you. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. You're the only one, you're the only one, you're the
right, that was awesome. I love worshiping God. I love singing to Him. I hope you had a great time worshiping. I don't think I heard any of your voices, so I want to hear them next week, alright? So today is a very, very exciting day. Very exciting. We are going to start a brand new series called Read. That's right, read. What is read? What the heck is read? Let me break it down for you. Read as in the prefix R-E, as in rewind or reverse or retake. You put the re behind the word, okay? In front of the word. And so it becomes a prefix. Now, specifically, today we will be focusing on the word return. Return, return. And we're going to listen to a story in the Bible, an amazing story that talks about this word, return, and it's called the prodigal son. So we're gonna listen to this story. Let's check it out. Welcome to another episode of Storytelling Time. This story begins with Jesus, who is with the tax collectors and sinners that were gathered around to hear what Jesus had to say. And he told them this story. One day there was a man who had 2 sons. The older one is in blue and the younger one is in red. One day, the younger son went to his father and demanded, "Give me my share of your inheritance." So the father was very sad, but he divided his property between his 2 sons. And not long after that, the younger son got together all that he had and he left and he set off for a distant country. There he squandered his wealth. He used so much money living the way he wanted, partying and having a good time, and soon after, he had no more money. He spent everything. And there was a severe famine in that country, and so he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself to a local citizen, a local farmer, and this farmer sent him to feed his pigs. The younger son longed to fill his stomach. He was so hungry that even the food that the pigs were eating seemed so good to him. And he came to his senses and he thought, how many of my father's servants have food to spare? And here I am, starving to death. And so he thought to himself, I must go back. I will set out and go back to my father. And so he got up and returned to his father. Wow, that was so cool, wasn't it? I loved that story. That was an awesome story. Now, the story didn't end yet. There's still a lot more to the story, but we're not going to finish it today because we're only focusing on the return, because today we're focusing on return. Alright? And so we're going to talk about this return, and so let's hear what Pastor Mike has to say about it. Alright? Let's go. Alright, welcome everyone. How are you all doing? I have missed you all for another week. It is so good to see all of your smiling faces once again. As you heard, we will be talking about the word return today. And I'm sure you all have heard the story by now. It's the story about the prodigal son. But before we talk about the return of this prodigal son, I want to talk about what happened right before the return of this younger son. In the beginning of the story, the younger son was with his father and his older brother. And while he was with them, he asked his father to give him his money that he would inherit. He asked his father to give him his inheritance money. What he meant by this is that give him the money that he would have gotten if his father had died. So what he really said to his father was, give me my money that I would get as my inheritance if you died. What he meant was, you are already dead to me. So this rich father was extremely hurt and he was heartbroken, but he still ended up giving his younger son his inheritance money. And so the younger son took the money and he left. He left his father and his older brother. And he went to live his life, as it said in today's passage, in wild living. Meaning he was spending his money the way he wanted. He was partying, he was eating all that he wanted, and he was doing all these bad things with his life. And he was pretty much living his life with sin. And then soon after, he could no longer sustain his spending. And the world could not sustain the life that he wanted to live. And soon he was all out of money. And then he grew hungry, and then we know that he ended up working for a farmer. And now his life was absolutely miserable. He was so miserable with his life, and he knew that this problem of his would be solved. He realized that it would be solved if he returned back to his home, back to his father. Now, this younger brother's life, his whole life that we just read and heard about, it can be very similar to our lives. The rich father in today's passage is also the same as God, who is rich in love and mercy. Just like the younger son turned away from his father, declared that he was dead to me, and then lived his life filled with sin, sometimes we can turn away from God, just like the younger brother. Sometimes we like to sin and reject God. We cause him to be heartbroken, and we often reject God. And then we live our lives the way we want, just doing what we want, living in sin, and trying to find fulfillment in this world. But the main point that I want to stress is this: no matter how much we live for this world, no matter how much we think we can be satisfied from it, the world cannot satisfy us. The world cannot sustain us. It cannot give us life. It cannot make us happy. We must return to God the Father. We must return to God. Just like the younger son in today's story, that he had to return to his father because he realized that the answer to the problems in his life was to return to his father. And just like all of this, God is inviting you to return to him. Maybe you've done something bad recently. Maybe you've said something that was hurtful, or did something that was a really bad thing. Maybe you disobeyed your parents, and maybe you're feeling guilty about something. I want to let you know that it's okay. It's okay, because God is inviting you to return to him. The answer is to return to God. Because once we return to God, something amazing happens. Something amazing. Do you want to know what that is? Well, we are going to find out next week what happens when we return to God. So, we're going to stop with today's story here, and we're going to continue on next week, and we'll talk about that more next week. So be on the lookout for that. So that's all for today, and now I'll send you back to Mikey. Bye! Alright, welcome back everyone. I hope you learned a lot today from Pastor Mike. I hope you learned what it means to return to God, because I'm always returning to God and it's awesome. And I can't wait to hear more about what happens when we actually return to God. I love this series, this re-series, and so stay tuned for next week to check it out. Now, before we close for today, I'm just going to give you one little announcement, all right? So hold your horses, okay? We're not done yet. Right after this, we will be having our small groups, all right? I love small groups. I hope you're excited because we're going to share, and we want to encourage you to share and process everything that's going on through these small groups. Small groups will be on Zoom, so make sure you get on your laptops, get your headphones, all right? Because we want to see your face. I want to see you. And plus, it's fun to see each other in our pajamas. Don't you agree? So, that's all for today. I hope to see you guys next week. We will close and end our service for today. Peace, everybody!